going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy right here. It's MMA Reloaded. We're live and fucking direct. Episode 19 of MMA Reloaded Will Talk. It is a landmark episode, ladies and gentlemen. It is one of the biggest episodes we're ever going to do in MMA Reloaded Raw Talk history. It is midnight here in the UK, folks, and we are live here today, live and direct, with the one and only flyweight pioneer, John Moraga, Chicano himself, one of the most passionate, one of the most emotional flyweights in flyweight history is John Moraga, folks. And John Moraga will join us here today in the next 20 minutes. Now, let me just tell you guys something. Let me just give you guys a bit of a rundown. I just want to say thank you to my last guest. I just want to say thank you to Alan Martinez for being on the show there the last time, folks, episode 18. He christened that in so well, folks, and it was something to behold. That episode is one of the most cutting-edge episodes. So we go from talking with one of the youngest phenoms to talking with one of the biggest veterans, battle-tested. He's fought Demetrius Johnson. He's beaten the best in the UFC flyweight division. He's fought the best in the UFC flyweight division, and he's also had his share of emotionals, ups and downs. So, folks, John Moraga is here with us today, and I cannot be even more excited to be joined by someone who's been there and done it. Of course, folks, we will get with John Moraga. We will get to talk with John about his return to MMA and his also a few other things, folks, which really surprised me, and I want to really get his opinions on it, folks. Also, folks, this Saturday night it is time for Robert Whittaker and Darren Till to fucking go one-on-one. Yeah, folks, and when these guys go one-on-one, it's going to be a huge fight for the middleweight division. It's going to be a huge fight for who gets the next shot at the middleweight championship. It's going to be a huge fight for who makes the biggest impact, and it's going to be a huge fight in terms of matchmaking, what to do next, and how to do it, when to do it. And this, folks, that night, Saturday night, UFC Fight Island 3, yeah, you best believe some real shit is going to go down with that one, man. Folks, also, folks, stay tuned, because MMA Reloaded's official merchandise is already popping off with our podcast special guests. Of course, folks, it's a great incentive. It's such a nice thing to do for these guys who support me and take their time out to come and spend time with us on MMA Reloaded Real Talk. And of course, folks, just show love for the love really to these guys, man. And of course, Anthony, Kamani, and Tan Lee are also a part of that love. And of course, Josiah Reyes, Rafion Stars, Jess Martinez, Ryan Trueland are also a part of the love, folks, and they'll be receiving theirs too. So, you know what, folks, it's just a way of saying thank you to your special guests. It's a way of showing their love and respect, which is what mixed martial arts is all about. It's all about being competitive, being fucking enthusiastic, being charismatic, whether you're on the desk, whether you're in the cage. You know what, folks, it's not about shit talking. It's not about going off to some beach, smoking weed and doing cocaine like Conor McGregor. It's not about hitting old men like Mike Perry. It's about sportsmanship. It's about redefining the tradition of martial arts. It's about the love for the sport. It's about passion to be the best, hold the belt, and fight the best. If you're not there to fight the best, I would say to that person, fuck off, out of this sport. Don't ever come back. Yeah, don't let the good Lord hit you with the good Lord split you. And that's about it, really, man. For me, folks, when we talk about the flyweights, of course, there's a big hype going on right now with the flyweights, with Davison Figueiredo being the champion, and there was a big hype with John Moraga coming in as John Moraga starts messaging me up saying, you know what, I want to be that guy, because John Moraga, folks, left the UFC at rank number 5. It was just something that we will touch on when John comes out to join us. So yeah, man, folks, just stay tuned whilst we invite John Moraga. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back there to MMA Reloaded World Talk. Yeah, folks, as explained, John Moraga will be joining us. We did give a bit of a backdrop, but I want to wait for the suspense to sort of come through. And of course, folks, I want to wait for John Moraga to come down. He's trained with the best. He's beaten the best, fought the best. And folks, he will talk with the best in MMA social media right here. MMA Reloaded. You can't test that, man. And don't even try to test that. Also, folks, just want to touch on one thing. Yeah. As mentioned about our MMA Reloaded merchandise, we will also be selling it, folks, on MMAReloaded.com, .co.uk if you're in the UK, all that. Both domains are all in mine. And folks, whatever floats your boat is whatever we'll be broadcasting on, and .com would probably be the greatest. So, folks, MMA Reloaded's official merchandise will be on MMAReloaded.com within the next month. So it's a huge time right now for MMA Reloaded, and it's a huge time for mixed martial arts as a sport. And folks, when we talk mixed martial arts, Bellator makes its return with Bellator 242. ONE FC makes its return on the 31st, live from Bangkok, Thailand. And folks, I'm awaiting that. I can't wait. Sergio Pettis meets Ricky Bandejas. Mike Tyson. Folks, when I heard about Mike Tyson meeting up with Roy Jones Jr., I was like, holy shit. I was like, fuck. I was like, I couldn't believe it, man. When Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. ended up agreeing to fight each other, it was like, I mean, Mike Tyson, 54 years old. There was a lot of hype coming into his return, folks. Peak physical condition. He was on point. Yeah, with on his videos, his speed looked good, his strength looked good, his power looked good, cardio. But Roy Jones Jr. is 51. Yeah, folks, once known as one of the greatest boxers of all time. Of course, famous for the hands behind the back and the head movement. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to seeing Roy Jones Jr. versus Mike Tyson. It's only 8 rounds, folks, live from California, September the 12th. So I cannot wait for that one to pop up. So, you know, when we talk MMA, we talk MMA Reloaded. This is not going to be just your regular podcast tonight. As mentioned, it's going to be a huge show, and John Moraga, folks, is going to be our special guest. Well, letting you know, also on that, on the card, we also have a huge fight, man, huge coming events. look what we got coming down. We got Mauricio Shogun Hua, folks, against Little Nog Rogerio Nogueira. Now, folks, these two guys will meet for the third time. They've met once in the UFC, they met once in Pride. This one, folks, is going to be their third meeting. There's a trilogy. The trilogies, folks, here nowadays are between two guys or women who have that competitive disdain for each other. Yeah, Max Holloway versus Alexander Volkanovski would be a trilogy I'd love to see. There's Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor. There's a lot of trilogies, folks, I would love to see, and I think what we see right now with Shogun Rua and Rogerio Nogueira is a bit like, if you were going to retire, who would you want to face? And Nogueira obviously has had his most memorable moments with Shogun Rua. So you have to think, folks, Shogun Rua is probably on the best form of his career, right? And he's probably on the best form, and I would say Shogun Rua comes into this fight the favorite. He doesn't come in too overzealous. So I say Shogun Rua beats Rogerio Nogueira, and I just want to give a big thanks in advance to the Nogueira brothers for everything they've contributed to this sport. Fucking legends. Folks, and it's one of those things that when a legend retires, you never forget, especially two guys who have made impacts on the sport, like the Nogueira brothers and Shogun Rua. Folks, who knows? This may be his last fight too. You never know with this stuff, and it's going to be a fight full of epic proportion, that's for sure. Also, folks, Fabricio Verdun is back in the cage, and after his up and down with Alexei Olenek, where Alexei was basically beating the shit out of Verdun here in the first round, Verdun came back, started to find his groove again at the end of the second. Then the third, I think he won the third, but ended up losing the decision. You kind of think, folks, you have two guys right here. Fabricio Verdun welcomes Alexander Gustafsson back into the UFC after Gustafsson damn near announced his retirement. But we all know that Gustafsson's still young. He still has so much left to give. And in my opinion, he is the greatest fighter never to win a UFC title. So he is probably the greatest modern day fighter never to win a UFC championship. There are so many greats who have never won a UFC belt, but their legacies have still been cemented. So when you see that in MMA, guys like Joseph Benavidez, guys like Gustafsson, Faber, I wouldn't be disheartened. Yeah, I would never be disheartened if you never win a UFC championship. Guys like Overeem even, because your legacies are cemented. Yeah, fans will always give you respect for your performance, for your attitude, for your personality. Fans will always respect you for that, man. And there is no doubt in hell that Alexander Gustafsson has earned the respect of the fans, earned the respect of millions across the world, and he's a hero in his home country of Sweden. Now, folks, we will jump along. With John Moraga will join us in another 4 minutes. So, yeah, man, until that point, Saturday night is planning to be a huge night, folks, for every division. Heavyweight division, folks, if Gustafsson wins, who knows how that Who knows how that shapes up the division? If Vadum wins, he's who knows? Depending on his performance, has he found his groove back? Is he ready to go run back some losses like the one to Alexander Volkov or Alexei Orlik? More important, you never know with this stuff, folks. It's one of those things that um, you can never really touch on. Yeah. I also want to put a little thing for the UFC women's strawweights, where first ever inaugural champion Carla Esparza comes in on practically on her best form. Yeah, um, on her best form coming in. Still, we still don't know what she can do against the likes of Joanna if she ever comes across that road again, or if she meets Rose Namajunas, or if she meets Michelle Waterson again down the road. Who knows what she can do coming down that road again in the coming to the title. She meets 12-0 Marina Rodriguez. Now, folks, Marina is just as experienced as Carla Esparza, but you have, of course, the record's different. But in my opinion, when you come into the UFC, and this is a huge fight for the women's strawweight division, because Rose Namajunas needs to watch this. That division is so open. Rose Namajunas needs to watch this, and there's no doubt that she'll be watching this. She'll be watching this on Saturday night. So, folks, as we come real close, man, to John Moraga joining us, I have to talk about press and social media. As always, you may have heard me talk about it on, well, practically every podcast we do. I always touch on press and social media because it's such a volatile topic that you never really can predict what's going to be said, who's going to be criticized, bad press, good press. I always try and, I don't know, I always try and ignore casual fans when they're posting up on social media. So I read the comments. If there's a comment that really pisses me off, I always sort of, I never sort of, I never answer it. Yeah, I just look and read, and then I answer it whenever convenient. Really, if I want to. Yeah, if I want to. If there's something going through my mind that says, bro, I could fuck this guy up on social media in front of all his peers, all the people in the discussion group. Yeah, although it's not the right thing to do, and because of my passion that I have for this sport, and I honestly believe I've said it so many times before that I should be on a commentary desk, on a broadcast desk. I'm in the UK, man. Cage Warriors, Bama, the whole joint. Yeah, Cage Steel. Come at me, bro. Come at me. Yeah, I wanna broadcast, man. Shit, I feel like I'm one of the brightest guys out there when it comes to mixed martial arts. Combined with charisma, I mean, shit, all the stuff I can take is just by commentary. So, ladies and gentlemen, just hold up. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Do not go anywhere. We'll be live with John Moraga when we return. Stay tuned. Also, ladies and gentlemen, before we get to chat with John Moraga, he's just joining us right now, folks. Tune in to episode 20, where on the 26th of July, where Brandon Rugbar, another huge young sensation in mixed martial arts, finally getting his break in the UFC, made just as much of his break as anyone, defeating Tim Elliott in his UFC debut. He will be joining us, folks, on the 26th of July. And also, folks, Johnny Munoz and Gifted Gabriel Green will be joining us once again for their second sit down with MMA Reloaded World Tour. So, folks, without further ado, John Moraga is just about to come down. I can't wait for this one. It's gonna get real right now, folks. Yo, what's going on, John, man? How's it going, bro?
What's up, bro? Give me 1 second, because I just sat in my car and I'm trying to figure out how to get this off my Bluetooth.
Oh, man, that's cool. Don't worry about it, bro.
Can you hear me fine in the speaker like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it echoey at all?
No. It's not echoey, bro. Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
Just trying to turn off my music because my music's playing. All right, there we go.
You got some of that Tupac playing, John, yeah?
We had that Nipsey playing.
Shit, R.I.P., man. Man, what's going on, bro, man? How's it going, man, with quite a lockdown and stuff, bro?
Yeah, bro. Lockdown canceled my fight and got me working. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this, but we're waiting to see what happens.
Wow, man. So you got your fight at Aries got cancelled.
Yeah. Yep. They canceled that real quick.
Oh shit, bro. Nah, that sucks, man. No, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. I was just about to ask you about that, man. No, man. I mean, John, first of all, bro, yeah, all I have to say is it's an absolute pleasure, man, to be sitting down with one of the flyweight pioneers in the UFC, bro. Yeah, and even with you being out of the sport for nearly 2 years, Yeah, bro. I have to say, it's a fucking nobody's ever forgotten who you are, bro. Yeah, they still know you as a legend. Yeah, they still. I'm waiting for you, man, to come back. Shit, I'm.
Yeah.
um.
Mick
How do you?
Maynard forgot who the hell I was.
Nah, man, you know what I mean? No, nobody forgets who you are, man, because you're the type of guy who's been there from the beginning. You've fought the best. You've beaten the best. Yeah, bro. How do you feel right now in your career, man? How did it all start, first of all, for John Moraga before that, man?
Well, I started wrestling, so I wrestled in college with CB and Bader and Kane, and
Yeah,
our whole college team. We probably have like 8 to 10 people that came out of my specific team and fought professionally. So, um, I was inspired by them and motivated by their success to get started. So that's pretty much what got me started.
yeah. So you got, bro. I mean, look at that team, man. Look at that team, bro. Right there in the MMA lab. Of course, headed by John Crouch, bro, and all these guys. How do you feel being a part of that team, man, and being fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona, where it's star-studded, and of course, bro, you have that team where you can just learn so much from each other. Um, how did that feel to you, man? Even before you were going into a fight or when you were in the camp?
Man, I feel blessed. You know what I mean? Like it's a real blessing to have and to be a part of my team, and just have that. The support that it gives just to be a part of them. Of that team. There's always someone in the gym that's willing and able to give you quality work, and then just surrounded by teammates that are just putting in work just as hard, and kind of helps with your motivation and just the process of training. And I mean, we've always been like this. We've always had people, even our up and comers that people never knew about. Now they're turning heads in the UFC, and these are
Yeah,
guys
bro.
that I was sparring, doing my rounds with, for years. So I'm
Nah,
just blessed to be a part of the MMA lab.
nah, man, I hear that, bro. Nah, I hear that, and let me just let me touch on it, man, because your final couple of performances, bro, in the UFC were very emotional. They were very passionate, bro. And how are you feeling? Because you ended your UFC stint with a fight against Davison Figueiredo, uh, who is who is now the UFC flyweight champion, and you were ranked the number 5, man, at that time. How are you feeling after that fight, and how are you feeling going in, man?
Um, you know, it, so since you asked, I'll say it. Well, I wasn't going into that fight under the best conditions. So um, definitely, it's just one of those ones. You lost the fight. You can't have no excuses or nothing. But it's just one of those ones that you always wish you can get back, or get another chance to redeem yourself in it. And knowing that I think I can perform a little bit better or have a better outcome, a little bit more success against that guy. So, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? What things happen in the fight, and that's all you can really prepare for, is to just go out there and leave it all out there. And I felt like I did that night, so it is what it is.
No, man. I mean, I hear that, bro, and I watched that fight over and over again, man, because you were coming into that one, bro, with a huge momentum. You won 3 in a row, and you were on the verge of actually proving to the UFC that, look, yeah, I'm here to stay. I'm not going nowhere, yeah, and this is what I can bring to the table, yeah, bro, because you scored 3 huge wins impressively. And I think your resume actually spoke for itself after your UFC release, which came unexpectedly to a lot of fans. And then you went to pro boxing, man. You had one fight in pro boxing against Brandon Foss. What was going through your mind when what was your mindset when you actually made that transition to accept that pro boxing fight, man?
Um, well, I want to say we kind of knew it was gonna. We knew what kind of fight it was gonna be. It wasn't gonna be the toughest fight that we had, but it was a good fight to just go out there and get a pro boxing experience. So I was training with my boxing coach for a few years now, and really sharpening up my boxing skills. And I was pretty anxious to get in there and show what I could do in the boxing ring. So, we're excited going into that, and it's still something I want to do. It's just harder to get fights in boxing. Um,
Okay.
After that fight, they pretty much in Arizona, they told us that, we pretty much had to start fighting contenders basically. And
Yeah.
so, like, I don't know, it's a little tricky because in boxing, they start at 4 rounders and then they move up to six, and we didn't really feel the need. I only have two pro boxing fights. I took a pro boxing fight in 2012 just because I needed money, and they offered it to me. So I was like, all right, I took it on 2 weeks' notice, and I was in no kind of boxing shape at that time. So I fought a tough guy. I lost a decision, and then we had the fight last year, and or was it 2018? I don't remember, but
It was last year, bro.
last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to get more, but it's just an issue with finding opponents, and just then coronavirus hit and stuff too. So um, I actually I'll be looking to do more of that, and possibly even some other stuff that's similar to boxing in the future.
Yeah, man. I mean, no, I mean, I hear that, bro. I mean, you have to explore your options as a fighter. There's always something out there outside the cage. And pro boxing, bro, would be the next best thing because your style in the cage was always, you were great with your hands, bro. And along with your wrestling, your striking, your hands, your explosiveness um, was something that everyone was a fan of, man. So when you were taking that boxing fight, man, did you think that holy shit, yeah, pro boxing could be my next move? Was that your thought process at any time, John?
You have hopes, but boxing's a little tougher. So I'm in. I'm 36 years old, so I know, I don't have a whole lot of time. I got to get things in while I can now. So we'll see what happens with all this coronavirus stuff. But I'm looking to get active as I possibly can in these last my last little stretch here. So as soon as things open up, I'll be ready. So if pro boxing, any of these pro boxing promotions wanna reach out, I'll be ready.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it, bro. After you, I want to touch on one of your the reason why I said earlier that you're one of the most like emotional and passionate in your last UFC appearances is because at UFC 216, bro, you scored one of the most highlight reel knockouts I've ever seen, man. Your left hook against Magomed Bibulatov. And then afterwards, bro, you gave a very passionate speech about how you were treated in the UFC and your pay and things of that nature, man. What was going through your mind when you won that fight, and what was going through your mind when you came into that one, man?
Um, that one was just, it caught me off guard because first of all, when I fought in New Zealand, um, I had a pretty dominant fight. Yet on the flight back home, it was just horrible because I was in a fight. My knee had swelled up the next day. I think I checked a couple of his kicks that, I don't know. I was out at dinner that the night after the fight, and I sat down for a little while, and I got up to walk away, and my leg was just locked out, and it didn't hurt. It wasn't bothering me or nothing. It just locked out, and I never really experienced anything like that before. I figured, it was just some inflammation or something. And but we leave the next day, and so carrying my bags to the airport and doing stuff like that, I was on a huge limp, and and it just made the plane ride uncomfortable. Then the plane ride, UFC doesn't give us any like special treatment. So I'm sitting in the middle seat with two people on the side of me for 14 hours, and my leg was just, it was hard to position it in the proper way, and then it was bugging me. It led into my hamstring, into my glute, into my lower back. So it was just about 7 hours of torture for the last half of that flight, and I didn't hardly sleep at all. Which luckily on the whole flight up there, which was only 11 hours for some reason, it was 11 hours to get there and 14 to get back, and I slept the whole first flight. That was perfect, so it worked out for the fight. But the ride back was just horrible. So I remember thinking like. That Russian is gonna have a tough flight home. Like that was in my head. Like
Bro, you
I know
knocked him
his
the
plane
fuck
ride.
out. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect it to go like that though. I thought it was gonna be a war, something that I was just gonna have to dig deep. That's something that we always prepare in our mind. Any fight that we get into, I mean, I pretty much prepare in my head like, hey, I'm gonna get hurt and I'm gonna have to push through it. So you kind of mentally know like you're ready for that. At least that's how I prepare my mental to be. So for that fight, it was almost like it's gonna be. It's not a if or it's not. Like I knew that guy was tough, and I knew he was coming to win, and I just knew it was gonna be a scrap. That's what I had no idea that I would take him out that easy. I don't say easy, but it just
That was
worked out for
it.
me quick.
Yeah, man, definitely.
So yeah, so that's where all that came from. That was just like I don't want to say relief, but it was just. I mean, I was preparing to go home to my kids, bruised up, and just been through a war. It was a tough camp. I think I had some injuries going into that fight. I don't, not necessarily injuries, but bumps and bruises that, you know, it take away not necessarily a little bit of your confidence, but you don't want to. You're hoping that none of that plays a factor in the fight. So, which it didn't.
for sure, man, for sure. But I mean, going into that fight, bro, you were obviously you were obviously intense. Yeah, the look you kept that same intensity, bro. Walking down the cage, into the cage. Was it more of a statement for you to make, John, at that time? Because you were one of the most outspoken guys, I think, in that whole roster, man. And was it more of a statement for you to make going into that fight, win or lose?
Yeah, I think at the time I definitely wanted to make a statement. There was an incident that happened in the locker room at the
Oh,
UFC PI that kind of had me feeling a little certain way towards the Russians. So um, they
oh,
basically, I came in the locker room and they were in there, and I just didn't like the vibe that they gave me, and I could feel that they had an attitude about things. Just I don't know why, just because I was in there or what. And the way they were looking at me and stuff, I asked them like, am I in your
shit. Fuck. Fucking shit, bro. Oh,
but
hold up, John. One sec, my bro. Let me just sort this shit out. Uh, fuck. John, let's do this. John, can you hear me, bro? Shit. Fuck. Oh, fuck.
yeah,
Let me, because for me, bro, it's a bit fuzzy. Um, oh, fuck me in the ass. Gee, shit. Folks, I don't know what happened there, man. Uh, what happened there? Folks, I apologize for that. We're having a great show, actually. And then this shit happens. Fuck's sake. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what happened there. Shit. Folks, I've just sent John Moraga another invite. Dang. You can just feel the emotion in that one. I swear, man, that was man, that was one of the realest podcasts, folks, so far. I think we've ever had the pleasure of doing. Hopefully, folks, we get John back on the air. I don't know why this keeps happening, folks. It fucking sucks. It sucks for me to be to sit with someone like John Moraga for this shit to happen, man. It sucks. Folks, give me one second. What's going on, my bro? John, man, yo, what's going on, John, man? Sorry about that, man. Fuck, fucking technology, man, is a pain in the ass. Um, no, man, no, just coming off from where we left off, man. I apologize if I put you on the spot there a little bit, bro, but no, I mean that was what you just said about the flight home after that fight, man. That was real shit, man. I mean, you can just feel that even not being there. You can feel the pain you were in. You can feel the uh, the absolute tension and the feelings, you know, and all this shit. I mean, bro, what was you were just explaining what was going on in the at the UFC PI with the Russians, bro, that made you feel in some type of way.
Yeah, bro. So basically, I walked into the locker room, and it was his coaches that were pretty much, just I don't know. I felt they were looking at me, and they were just all staring, and just like when someone walks into the room and they just kind of stopped and looked at me, and I turned around and they're all still looking at me. So I'm like, what? Am I in your way or something? Like I moved my bag or something, and they ignored me. Like they just didn't respond to me. One of them eventually responded to me, and you know, made sure nothing happened. And then I remember I posted like on my Facebook, like, "Hey, all I know is this Russian's going home hurting tomorrow." So, and it was just like that. And I was reading a little bit. I know those dudes are intense people, though. I was reading a little bit, and I learned a little bit about Chechnya when I fought that dude.
Yeah.
So, and I know he was like that. I don't know what the guy is, dictator over there, president. I don't know what
Oh man, Vladimir Putin. Yeah.
no, in Chechnya, his Kadyrov, I think is his name. I don't even
Okay.
want to say his name. But that guy was saying that we should fight to the death, and he would put his guys up against us. So like we knew we were fighting some intense people, but so it just
Right.
brought out the best. It brought out the best in us.
Fight to the death, my bro. Gee, shit. That's some medieval shit, bro. I mean, I mean, no, man. How did that add extra motivation for you going into that fight? Because you were already coming in looking to make a statement anyway. Did that add extra emotion, extra motivation for you coming in?
I think so. I think so because I remember usually my demeanor doesn't really change until fight day. I wake up on fight day and it's all business. As soon as I'm eating my breakfast, I'm not laughing and joking really. I'm preparing myself to go through a war.
Yeah.
So I remember it changed my demeanor pretty quick for the rest of the week, and I was just like, nah, this dude's gonna win or lose. He's going back hurt.
Bro, he went back. He went back hurt, man. Bro, moving on, yeah, and of course, now we look at your career now, man. You'll go down as one of the greatest flyweights of all time, bro. Whether you come back into the UFC or not, and at 36 years young, man. And how did you feel? How did the Aries FC fight actually come out, man? Did you how did that how did you get offered that fight?
Well, they actually contacted me through Instagram, I believe. So I just, passed on the information to my manager, and we finished up that way. But I believe they contacted me through Instagram. This is when they were barely kind of in the works. So I
Yeah,
believe I was one of the first fighters that they were talking to. Um, and yeah, so it was just we kind of got we had the opportunity basically. Everyone else right now, nobody else. How should I say it? I don't know. Everyone else in MMA, like I'm not really happy with MMA. You know what I mean? You give me a lot of praise and stuff, but these promotions and their negotiations and their dealings, like, it's frustrating. So no, Aries was pretty much, on the table at the time. The opportunity was there. They had the fight scheduled and lined up, so we kind of already knew, like, okay, we had a timeline. Everything seemed like, you know, for sure in a sense. So we were kind of like, okay, that was the game plan. We'll knock out these two fights. We were supposed to fight in April, July, and then, see what happens from there. Hopefully, I was excited to fight for Aries also, and I still am. I'm still signed with Aries. So people ask me, I'm still signed with Aries. Um, because of coronavirus, they gave us the option to explore other routes if we needed. But as of right now, I'm sticking with Aries, and only thing that would probably change that is if UFC, needed some kind of replacement or needed me to step in. But other than that, man, nobody else is paying. Who's paying? They don't pay me enough to take all this
No,
brain damage. You know what I'm saying? So, um, it's a couple promotions out there that I thought were decent promotions, but
nah,
nah.
nah. I mean, bro, if I can just touch on that as well, man, and get a bit real for a second, because pay scale right now for me, man, is one of the hottest topics in MMA, yeah, in combat sports, yeah, overall, boxing, MMA, kickboxing, whatever sport you're in. Um, in the UFC, yeah, John, from the time you were there to now, how was your experience with that sort of thing in the UFC, and how do you see it now with all these guys complaining, taking strikes, and talking basic shit to Dana White that about their pay and how they compensate?
Um, you know, honestly, everybody's been complaining. They just haven't been complaining publicly.
Yeah,
So, um, I feel like the UFC does a good job at what they do in keeping us um, starving in a sense. So
yeah,
so you need your any next opportunity that you have with them is still looking like a lot better than your current position. So
yeah.
they know what they're doing with all that.
I
There's
mean,
been time there was a few times where I was in a couple positions to probably set up a few things, and they'll they'll just do they'll I don't know if they do it on purpose. I can't say that, but um, if you have an opportunity to probably make a bigger impact for yourself and raise your stock a whole lot more, so that way by the time negotiations come back around, you can
yeah,
have a little bit more play. They're more than likely going to see that and recognize that and try to make you sign a deal a couple fights quicker than you wanted to, because you're less value at that point.
oh shit. Did you feel that at any point during your career when you were signing new deals with the UFC?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, if I could be, sorry, John, man, go on. No, go ahead.
Well, it's like you can't say for sure, you don't know, but just the timing that everything happened and stuff like that, it's not like that's how I feel, I'm just like, so they're smart about it.
Um, say what you feel, man. Now this is the time right now, man. You know what I mean? I don't hold any grudges. I don't judge no one, man. Um, say if you feel anything else, man, just let it out, my bro.
I got you.
Uh,
I got you. Yeah, it's a tricky subject because we don't really know. We don't know what their tactics are. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, they're definitely not to make us. all the money. So
to make them.
I just feel that I feel personally, man, that like we're professional athletes, and there's a lot of people out there that are willing to do what we do
Yeah.
for a lot cheaper. And as a matter of fact, that's what it is. And I'm what it boiled down to was I'm a flyweight, and they can pay a flyweight a lot less than what they were paying me, and they get the same result. Is basically how they feel about it. So um, that's what it was.
Okay. All right, man. I'm sorry if I put you on the spot there, John, a little bit, bro. No, I mean, I just wanted to. I know you wanted to say a lot more, man. Uh, so I just wanted to give you the opportunity, bro. I mean, when Dana White says stuff like it's not a career, bro, it's an opportunity. Yeah. When he says shit like that, what actually goes through your head? Because he said it. He said this ain't no career, it's an opportunity to compete in the UFC.
What I would this is what goes through my head, bro. So look at this is business, right? This is big business. These guys make a lot of money. It's cutthroat business.
Yeah.
They make a lot of cutthroat decisions, and when you do that, like I come from a different world. When people do that, I, you know, I might not like your decision, and I might want to do a cutthroat decision right back. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So um, I don't want to say too much. When I see the right people face to face, we'll have a good conversation.
No, yeah, for sure, man, for sure, bro. No, it is a tricky subject, man, like you said, and I don't want to push you into saying anything, man. I mean, for in my opinion, bro, to sum it up to that topic, it's one of those things where no one's perfect, yeah, bro. No one's perfect. Promotions aren't perfect. Fighters aren't perfect. Matchmakers aren't perfect. No one's perfect. Yeah, bro. Everyone wants different things, and it's hard to make everyone happy. Yeah, bro. At the same time. Yeah, and I think what we're seeing with bro, with the flyweights, you guys have always had a difficult time. Yeah, bro. In the UFC, when Demetrius Johnson was champion, yeah, John, people were criticizing, saying that flyweights are this and flyweights are that, and tickets weren't getting sold. Yeah, bro. Why do you think that was, bro? Why do you think people had that view on the flyweights about 5, 6 defenses into DJ's reign, bro?
Lack of promotion. So when they first started flyweight,
Yeah,
they they had like they didn't have a deep talent pool, a deep roster, I should say. The talent pool was top notch, but they had all the top guys fighting everybody. So there was close fights. There's gonna be close fights at the top tier, and I don't think that I don't think they let us build up enough. They didn't put enough people in the mix to where we could start gaining some excitement for the division, getting some finishes, getting some highlights. They kept a lot of people on the shelf. If you lost that flyweight earlier on, that you were on the shelf for 6 to 8 months. So, I mean, how were we supposed to, gain traction or whatever? They didn't promote us very much, if at all. So, that's on them.
oh man, that fucking
I feel.
sucks. No, yeah, man. I mean, I feel the same way, bro. Because rarely during the flyweight reign early on when DJ was champion. And every title fight just kept him being treated as like a second priority. And I think a lot of people actually saw that because they were like, oh, DJ's fighting this guy or DJ's fighting that guy. Yeah, he's going to run through him. Yeah, what the fuck's the point of watching it? And I think that's what was going through a lot of people's heads. And I think what was going through your mind, John, when you fought Demetrius Johnson and you had that chance to fight, bro. And you actually made a huge statement towards the end of that fight, man. The flying knee, you came in, guns blazing. What was going through your head when you came and got that title shot?
Well, at the time, I was in it to win it. So I was ready, I didn't second guess myself at all. But
Right.
at the same time, I mean, think about it. Um, that was my third fight in the UFC when they gave me that title fight. That was like my third, big fight, really. I hadn't really fought any true contenders until I got to the UFC. I fought John Dodson
Yeah.
um, in one fight before the UFC, prior to the UFC, which should be off my record, by the way. I don't know why they keep
Right.
that on my record. I don't know if you guys heard of the Dominican disaster, but
No, bro. Yeah.
yeah, I fought him in the Dominican Republic. Our checks bounced. Nothing was official. They didn't even have timers, doctors, judges were not official. So I don't know how that's still on our record because they gave him
That's
the
still there,
decision, but
man.
it was yeah.
That's still there, bro. That's 2010, bro. That's fucked. No,
Yeah, so our checks bounced. We never got paid for it, nothing. So other than that fight, though, I mean, my first big fights were against, Ulysses Gomez, Chris Carriazo, who was like number 7 in the world at the time, and that was just kind of my first time really being in there with the top competition. So the DJ fight was, I was very inexperienced, and I was not inexperienced competition wise though. I've had many years of wrestling and competing, so I don't think it was too much of a factor in a sense of my mental, but just in a sense of being able to adjust in the middle of a fight and just different things that's going on in your head in the middle of a fight. I don't think I had enough experience to like really make adjustments or to catch things at that time. I probably could have done things a little bit smarter, use smarter tactics because I think I talked myself up that whole fight. I had to do so much promo for that fight, and I'm not much of a talker, so that's kind of my problem. I always feel like I sound stupid when I talk in interviews because I'm like, if I could answer you, I'll answer you in one word. But I always feel like I gotta for the interview, I gotta like stretch it out or something. So I would always like
Yeah.
catch myself in rambles that made no sense or like I was just trying to make something out of nothing. But I had to talk myself up so much for that fight that I was just like the only thing I could really do to create any excitement or anything. I was like, man, he's boring, and I was just talking about his style, and it got me into thinking like, man, I'm gonna bring the fight. I'm gonna come at him. I'm gonna come,
Mhm.
pressure, pressure, pressure. And
Yeah.
I don't. That necessarily wasn't my intention to go into the
Man,
fight like that, but I just knew I was gonna come fight like that. But I think that just that mentality kind of stayed with me throughout the fight once I got in there.
I think I think, bro, when you look at championship fights now, yeah, and it's one of these things where I want to touch on two things here, man. One is prestige, yeah, bro. The prestige of having a championship shot, first of all, yeah, John, I think is overlooked right now in MMA, and I think people don't understand. Fighters don't understand what type of opportunity it is to have a championship shot right now in mixed martial arts, and they just take it for granted. And all they ask for is 50 mil or 60 mil, yeah, bro. And it doesn't matter if they win or lose; they're gonna go to the pay window. I wanna. So my question to you is this, bro: when compared to when you were fighting in the UFC till now, how do you see any differences in prestige in terms of rankings or guys using these types of shots just for granted? Do you think prestige itself has gone has decreased?
Um, I guess that's always been a value that's of personal opinion anyway, right? So I don't know. I don't know. I think there's definitely probably a few people that sometimes I think the UFC throws people in there that either um, can sometimes slip into that category where people might not think that they had the credentials to be in there or something. But I don't. I think if you're there, if you're on the radar, you're on the radar for a reason. It's not like you were just fighting nobodies and not beating anybody. So I'm not gonna take that kind of that credit away from any fighter that actually made it that far, because I still think that, I mean, in order to get there, you had to have been doing something right.
No, definitely, man. I think when we look at it now, there are so many hot fighters, bro, out there. Like if you look at the welterweights, Jorge Masvidal is one of the hottest out there, bro, and he definitely didn't get the title shot against Kamaru Usman just by name. He earned that shot, yeah, bro. And I think this is where I have that mixed opinion about it. Like you said, it's because it's just a matter of personal opinion, and I think there are guys that deserve it. Or there's guys like Conor McGregor who just use their keyboard, bro, or their phone to try get a title shot when they haven't done shit to earn it. Um, I think that's where my other side of my opinion come from. But in terms of rankings, yeah, John, do you think rankings have sort of lost their way in terms of picking contenders and number one contenders?
Um, Man, that's hard to say, because me personally, I don't really pay attention to the rankings too much. So,
Yeah,
because yeah, I mean, you could always have it. It all depends on the schedule. You could have 2 through 6 already scheduled for fights, so the only option was number 7 or number 8 or something like that. But at the same time, I still feel that if you're in the top 10, you're right there. It's not really that far apart from 1 and 10. I still feel 1 and 10, 1 and 11, 1 and 15 could even have a really close fight. You never know.
for
So
sure.
styles make fights, and I mean, there's so many different circumstances in MMA that people don't consider. Um, so many different things. For instance, like you just mentioned, Masvidal, he took that fight on 6 days notice.
Yeah, 16.
So I mean, you look at that fight, and I mean, was that really Jorge Masvidal in there? It wasn't. I can tell you, because
No, no.
regardless, people stay in shape, and people stay in the gym. I think right now during COVID, it's a little harder, but he wasn't in fight shape. He wasn't. There was times where he definitely didn't have the cardio to do what he probably could have done had he had a full camp. So in a sense, I mean, he earned that title shot, and he worked hard for it all these years. But damn, did he really have a fair shake when it was his, not fair, but he seized the opportunity, and but it was 6 days notice. So
See,
that's where it's like kind of sucks for people like him.
and when you got 21 pounds to cut in 6 days, it kind of sucks, And do you pay attention to social media, bro? Because after that fight, social media was going nuts about Kamaru Usman's performance, how he won the fight in the end against, as you said, against a Jorge Masvidal who didn't come fully prepared. What do you make of social media when they criticize Kamaru Usman in that performance?
um, Social media is going to be social media. I learned that when I first got social media. When I first got social media, I wanted to track everybody down that was saying anything. You know what I mean? That had anything slick to say. I was screenshotting their profiles, and I was like, I'm gonna get this dude. But
Hell yeah.
man, I talked to Dominic Cruz one time, and he was like, bro, if you do that, you're just wasting your time. You're not gonna catch them all. You shouldn't even let it bother. He's like, let me ask you this: would Mayweather respond to them, or would Mayweather bother with them? And I was just like, man, you're right. So I think it was at that point that I kind of there's nothing but clowns on the internet. So
Yeah.
that whatever can be said, whatever bad that can be said, is probably gonna be said on the internet. Is it true? I just think that it's anything that can be said is going to be said on the internet. There's people that are out there. They're not speaking with logic. They're speaking with the they get a kick out of like you giving them a reaction. So if you react to
Oh,
that stupid comment, that's why they say it. So um, I don't pay attention to that anymore.
don't, man. Don't, bro. They're casual fans, bro. And if you need to take anyone down on social media, man, just let me know. Yeah, I take fuckers down easy. Yeah, all you have to do is just let me know, bro. No, I mean, like you said, bro, it's social media is one of them things that if you're a fighter, bro, you're gonna get press, bad press, good press, yeah. And it's all, in my opinion, it's 90% bullshit, bro. But if you're a fighter, bro, you're right. It's not a good idea to react to it. Yeah, because what you're gonna do, you're just gonna play ping pong with these guys. Yeah, and it's a damn, and then it's a shit fest. Yeah, it's nothing, man. Look, and then as we move on, yeah, John, um, and we talked about, and I talked about Jorge Masvidal cutting weight for that fight, bro. 21 pounds in 6 days. When we talk about weight cutting, John, how do you perceive weight cutting right now in MMA, man? Do you feel it is one of the biggest? Obviously, bro, it's one of the biggest aspects in a fighter's game. Of course, we've seen fighters pass away from cutting too much. What's your perception on weight cutting in mixed martial arts?
Well, I come from wrestling where we don't do it very healthily. Um, Healthy. So I wasn't. I mean, I thought I knew how to cut weight, and I did know how to cut weight. I knew how to cut weight, but not do it healthy. So I think a lot of people do that. Maybe still even. Um, I don't know. I know that the UFCPI has helped a lot of people with that, and they're getting people the education to kind of be able to do that a little smarter. And I feel that I'm a lot smarter with my weight cuts now, and I kind of learned the science behind it. And it took a long time for me to do it, to make a transition, because I felt like, when people, and this is what I noticed about a lot of people, they feel like, well, you tell them something and they're just like, well, I do it this way. So they want to do it their way. And I think, I can't really say because I'm not involved in everyone's weight cuts, but I know my team at the lab, we all have a pretty good routine now that we kind of, and there's enough people doing it properly where if if you have a question and you ask somebody, you're probably going to get a better answer than 10 years ago, where people were like, spit in a cup, throw on a paper plastic bag and go run and stuff like that. So yeah, I would just say it's definitely an issue, but I don't think it's as much of an issue as it was in the past. It
Yeah,
can be an
no,
issue, but I think people are getting smarter.
no, I hear that, man. I think it's one of the biggest aspects in a fighter's game right now, man. And as it gets stricter, as the rules get stricter, fighters need to sort of find the right way of cutting weight, yeah, and when to stop if you think it's too much, yeah, when to start if you think you're at that key point right now. And do you, from the days in the Ultimate Fighter, bro, where I think fans could see the struggles, the real life struggles that a fighter goes through cutting weight, yeah, on that reality show, do you think that where do you think a fighter should stop cutting weight? And if you think that if a fighter thinks they're cutting too much, um, what's your opinion, man? Do you think a fighter should know when it's too much to cut, or do you think there's fighters that don't care?
I Well, I mean, I think it goes back to, are they doing it right?
Yeah,
So one thing that I learned in cutting weight is I actually need food to cut weight. I can't just cut out all my food and starve my body, and now my body's not functioning properly, and my metabolism's off, and it's gonna shut down a lot quicker than
yeah,
if I keep eating smaller amounts, better food, start taking my portions down, keep my water intake. I gotta keep a lot of water in me, and that's gonna make your body function properly and keep your metabolism going how it's supposed to go. And you're dieting basically, and that's what I do. I diet down until the very end. I stay water loaded until the last 10 pounds is just water at that point, and it's easy though because I've already loaded my body with all this water that I'm gonna take out and put right back in. So for me, I don't even feel bad cutting weight no more until the very last day. The last few hours. As soon as I wake up that morning and get the last 5, 6, 7 pounds off me that morning, and that's the only day that I'm struggling now. So I think, and a lot of my teammates do it the same way. So I don't think we're letting it affect us too much prior. And I think that's when I've seen more people get in trouble is when they want to cut weight, they're afraid to gain weight, so they stop eating, they stop drinking, and that's now their body's shutting down, and they still have 10, 15, 20 pounds to go, but it's not gonna happen like that. You shut yourself down too early. So some people will say, oh, maybe they should have stopped or they cut too much, but maybe they didn't. Maybe they just did it wrong.
No, man. I mean, it's a touchy subject, man. Once again, and I think, bro, in this sport right now, where you got guys hitting old men in bars, and you got Conor McGregor on a beach doing cocaine and smoking their weed, bro, and you got guys like guys trying to make name for themselves legitimately. Yeah, bro. And John, this is just to wrap it off. Yeah, man. How do you see modern day MMA as a veteran and as a fan, bro, looking in? Like the trash talk, the money, the pay scale, the the events, the fights, the criticisms. Yeah, bro. As a veteran of the sport and as a fan, yeah, how do you perceive that the state of this sport, bro?
Um, Man, it's hard to say because outside of once I've been so involved in MMA and it's been my career,
Yeah,
uh, and I had to do it, as a job and not so it. I think it took away a little bit from the fan in me. So I don't pay attention to. I mean, I haven't in a while, and it's just so I don't know exactly where we are right now, but if I could you know, from the stuff that I have seen, I think MMA is definitely evolving and it's getting to a more mainstream and a little bit better conditions for the fighters.
yeah,
However, I still think we have a long way to go, before fighters can actually get the benefits of being a pro athlete. Like we're not pro athletes right now. We are, but we're not.
um,
Not
man.
we're not.
I mean,
We don't feel like it.
I don't feel like it. That's because you're not. That's because fighters right now compare themselves to Deontay Wilder, or they compare themselves to boxers, and what boxers get treated like. Yeah, bro. And I think MMA fighters, and it's only fair that they want to get treated the same way. Um, I mean, John, bro, in my humble opinion, man, it has been a real pleasure to chat with you right now. Today, man, MMA Reloaded Real Talk. I thank you, bro. And I know you don't like to be acknowledged as and given the praise, man, but you deserve it. You earned it, bro. And I hope to see you back in the cage soon. I mean, that's only if how you're feeling right now, man. You're still young, right in your prime, and my bro, it's been a real pleasure, man.
No, I'll be back for sure, man. As soon as coronavirus stuff ends, and even if I can jump on one of these shows soon, where they got no fans in the crowd, it's whatever. I'm anxious. I'll be back.
Thank you so much, John Moraga, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, John.
Thank you, bro. Thanks for having me.
No, no problem, man.